Hello and welcome to the Battle and Barrow, and jumping straight into this, we are going to be having a sort of little look at this game here. This is Warrior Knights from Games Workshop, released in 1985 and designed by Derek Carver. I believe there was another second edition of this, if you like, released in 2006 by Fantasy Flight Games with some sort of updated components in, but for this we are looking at the original 1985 version. It's a sort of war game, I guess, but interestingly it's not focused on the troop movements and combat as such. As you can see here, it's an epic game of power and politics, and that's what it's more focused on, the political aspect. It's in this lovely what I call bookcase boxes that Talisman 2nd edition came in, Dungeon Quest, Warlock Firetop Mountain, and all sort of Games Workshop games of that era, the board games at least of that era. It is for 2 to 6 players, aged 10 to adult, and that's good because that's me. Either 10 or adult, take your pick. This is what the outside of the box looks like. The back is pretty standard format for these boxes this era. You have what you get here and a game data which breaks down to number of players, ages, playing time, who the designer was, development, production, and the artwork. Made in Great Britain. It's a standard Games Workshop of the era type of box, 80s box. Showing you a bit of a setup here. Originally I was going to do this as a restoration project. It's a bit bent here, so it's going to need an iron. The box isn't torn or anything, so the box is in good condition, but maybe I can sort of paint this black, but I'm not going to, because it's pretty much, you've seen that in the Dungeon Dragon Masters series I did the other month. So if you're interested in how to repair things like this, go and watch that video. For now, what we're going to do is have a look in this. So the first thing we are presented with is the rulebook. The rulebook is, again, typical for a Games Workshop rulebook in this era. It's monochrome, in this case brown, and it is quite wordy, but the rules are somewhat straightforward. It probably looks more complex than what it is, but a lot of it's all to do with voting. You do a lot of voting in this game. You have voting and vetoes, and you assign governors of places, assembly motions. It is a political game. So if you want something slightly different from the from troop movements and combat, this could be for you. It's quite, to me, it is quite interesting. You do have troops you have to pay, but it's more to do with payment and upkeep of them rather than the combat of them. But there is combat in the game too, so don't panic if you like combat. It's got a little matrix here for rolling results, and you can lay sieges, but the combat is pretty much just that, and then what happens when you capture cities. The rest of it is very political, so it's quite an interesting game. I would look forward to playing it later on. And if you wanted to, you could photocopy this back in the day. Nowadays you'd probably just scan it or take a picture of it on your phone or whatever. So you got a little summary of the rules there, or the sequence here, and a little summary at the back here, so you could scan or take a picture of that. Component wise, there is one bit missing. We'll get to that in a minute. Component wise, not many plastic pieces. The main plastic pieces you get are these little pieces that represent the nobles. These are, you have 6 different colours. You have a light green, a dark green, try and get them all out, and a brown. Yeah, so you have a light green, a dark green, a red, orange, brown and black, and they have different livery on, different sort of crests, heraldry, that's the word I'm trying to spit out, on them, which represent the barons and nobles in the game. I believe there are 4 of these each. You have try and get rid of the boring bits first. These are vote tokens, which you would use to vote in secret and tally up. You have various different bits and pieces here. I believe you have some raised stuff when you raise cities, and the nice thing about this game is, I think I've put them in here, is, oh yeah, it's D6 game, but it gave you blank bits of cards and so forth. These are just little help bits. I must have put them in here. So if you lost one of the cards, you could sort of replace it. You'd have the back, you just got to write it, scrawl on it on hand. And I thought that was a nifty little trick. So you'd have a blank fate card, for instance. On the other side of this, it'd be blank. So whatever card you lost, you could write it yourself. A great idea. We'll get to these bits in a minute. These are the player bits. So yeah, I have different cards here. Oh yes, coins. We have some coins. Lots of different monetary value of coins. So 500, 100, 1 down to 1. Obviously, it's a game of money and what have you. What I like about these, the artwork in this, these cards, is it's very so what I'm looking for, medieval. If you look at it, so there's the assembly cards. So the actual artwork on the back there looks like it's come straight from a medieval manuscript. That just appeals to me. That's instant. I love medieval art. Let's have a look at the assembly cards. So yeah, so we have, they look a bit wordy, but ambassador to the Orient, that means you're going to the Orient. Private motion to be raised by that person, private motion to be raised by that person, and so forth. So these would be used within the game. Keeper of the keys with 50 maintained troops. So these are all just different things that are going to be going on in the voting stage. We have the town levies, again with this lovely medieval-esque artwork. So what do we have? Colville levies, and these are all just different levies that go to different types of troops and different places. Here at 100 coins apiece, so these would be used within the game. But the artwork is the same on all of them, and it's pretty much that picture there, but in landscape. We have, this is the spares. Okay, so I was talking about spares, I've put them here. So here's a town levies card that we've just looked at, and it's just pretty much blank on the other side. So it has the artwork, it has the gaps. So say if you lost this one and you knew you lost this one, you could just write it in there by hand. I thought that was a really nifty idea, and there are cards for sort of fate, again, blank, mercenaries. Has the artwork in again, and the layout, mercenaries, regulars, assemblies, quite a lot of assemblies actually here, so more than anything else. And you also got a few chits spares. We have this ship one, which is, I think, and game turn ones. So you had spares, so if you lost any, you could easily replace them, which makes this video, my videos I do, kind of almost redundant, but not so here. This is pretty much complete. I say pretty much, there is one piece missing that I'm not too worried about. Fate cards, again, this lovely medieval-esque skulls here. Forced March. You may play this card in one of your subsequent movement phases. It enables you to move one noble twice in that phase. It cannot be used for overseas transits, and if you have more than one of these cards, it is limited to one card per noble per phase. Keep this card until used. So yeah, there's all things like that in here. So these are just sort of things you can use to affect the game. Plague, we don't want any more in this card ever again. We've just lived through that. Forest fires, nope, that's bad as well, isn't it? And we still suffer from that nowadays. Disaster at sea. Roll 1 dice to establish which city there is a terrible storm at sea. All transit to and from the established city are killed. That's cheery. Cholera. Wow, this is a really cheery game. Revenge. Wow. Okay. Anyway, that's those. So these are obviously sort of events that can spice up your game and have things that are unforeseen. Okay. On to the troop cards. These will have some mercenaries. We'll have what you do with the mercenaries. This is their upkeep, and I forget what that is. But these are how much you'd pay for Tuscans, 50. And you'd have a load of these. Go through them. So they've got Tuscans, but you have different monetary values for them, going up to 300. And then we'd have the same for Swiss, going up to 300. Romanians, going up to 300 again. I'll stop saying going up to 300 because they all go up to 300, 50 up to 300. The Poles, I'm assuming that's Polish, I guess. The Lombards, 300. English, that'd be me, I guess. And just some regular troops. So these are mercenaries you could employ, and so you have mercenaries and regulars. The artwork is the same on both. Focus. There you go. But the regulars are the same sort of dealio, different monetary values on them. So that is the combat side, as it were. Now, for each coloured shield piece that we looked at earlier on, you have a corresponding set of cards for them. So we have the light green, the brown, the black, the dark green, and the orange. And we also have the red, which we're going to look at, because I believe, can't remember if it is, but one of them is missing one of these square pieces here, which is not a big dealio. I can easily either make one or just not use that colour. I mean, there's 5 other colours we could use. I doubt I'd ever play this with the full 6 people, so I just wouldn't use it. But this is just a piece you'd put around on the board. Double income squares, effectively, that's what that is. And these are, if you're under siege, and there's 4 stages to a siege, 1, 2, 3, 4, which those got little numbers on the corners here. Likewise on the double income pieces. So there's those. You then have these little pieces here, which I forget what. If anyone is interested in a let's play of this, or a breakdown of the rules, so you want to see more of this, let me know in the comments, and I shall do a video covering that aspect of it. But for now, this is just me looking at the contents of the box with you. So you have these little pieces, which I assume are money pieces or whatever, earning pieces. Have this, which is in residence. Yes, the noble is in residence, so you'd put that down on the board, which we'll look at in a moment. Card showing this is the Baron's name. Each of these pieces, colours, will have a different card name on the card here. I can sort of see that. Baron Gilliman, whatever, on that one. And this is Baron Thomas Edmund Madder, and you'd pass this if you're not going to go to the assembly to vote. So you'd be like, I will not be attending the assembly, so you'd put this down. There's a blank chit here. I'm assuming that has a reference in the game. We also have, this is the in residence card, so you'd use this, say, I am at my castle. Baron Thomas Edmund Madder is in residence. He's in here for now. Oh, and probably spill them all out. It didn't come in bags. It's just something I always do whenever I buy a game, is I just get bags and make the pieces, the game, really easy to set up. So I always do that. The amount of bags I buy, I must be on some list as a potential drug dealer, because I buy loads of these. So here's some troops here, so or some nobles for the Baron. So we have Guy de him, so Hugh Murray, Riccardo de Scarletti, and Edward de Gules. So yeah, so that's, and they're all pretty much the same, all just with different names. You have Ulrich von Uchter there. Next up, probably going to be quite a pointless thing, is what was standard in games back of the era. These little business reply service cards, Games Workshop. This would be going, I don't know if that's their standard address now. I know they moved from London to Nottingham quite early, but I don't think that is it? But that's it. So postage will be paid by a licensee. So I might post this off. Let's have a look. Game purchased, Warrior Knights. Where did you buy this game? Tick box. MacLeod service. Sort of. Hobby games convention. Nope. Specialised hobby shop. Other. High street shop. It'll be other, and it was eBay. What do you like most about this game? I'm kind of interested in the political aspect of it. It makes a change from straight up war gamey. What do you like least about this game? I've not played it yet. I need to play it, so I can't really answer that. List your favourite games by manufacturer. Talisman by Games Workshop, I guess. Made by, published by someone else now. Warhammer Quest, the original by Games Workshop. Dungeons and Dragons by TSR, Wizards of the Coast. And D, what else do I like? Well, Hero Crest by MB Games. There we go. Do you collect miniatures? Yes. Some would say I over collect them. Anyway, there's that. A little bit of art there from that era. Great. Board. Now, the board is awesome because it's that era of Games Workshop when they loved a jigsaw board. The box is nothing in it. Like Talisman 2nd edition. And I just generally like these jigsaw boards. I find them quite fascinating. And it's a landscape type board that we fit together like this. And okay, so what we have here is the board. So it is Warrior Knights. You have these corner pieces represent different overseas territories. So they're the trading places. You have a combat table here which faces this direction, and a siege table here which faces this direction to the board. And so China and the Spice Islands and the Indies, China and Spice Islands facing me, the Indies and Ceylon are facing that way. So no matter what way you sit in, it's not all sort of, one person doesn't get all the stuff their way, because you're going to be sitting round the table. So I like that. So the board's this land. It's in squares. I think the 2006 edition by Fantasy Flight, these were replaced by hexes, and you had little 3D plastic bits for the cities. But yeah, this is what the board looks like. And so you have, these are different cities that you can occupy, lay siege to, and you can raise them to the ground, which means they won't be in the game anymore. And I think that's the upkeep. You can have these numbers here that you may recognise from this things I should grid on. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 stages to a siege. Yeah, so that's the board. Oh yeah, there's some round market here. I think that's what that other chip was for. I'll show you the wages move, assembly. So that's, you go through these phases, which I'm not even showing on camera. That's what this represents on the board here. So if I can get a bit closer so you can see artwork and bits and pieces. That is a quick look at what's in the box for Warrior Knights. If you are interested in seeing more of this game, let me know and we can do a rules breakdown and maybe a let's play of it. Now we can have people back in the Battling Barrow playing games. We can sort of do a bit more things like that now. I'm really interested to play this game because it is just something slightly different rather than just fighting and death and destruction. It's more political, more Games of Thronesy really. So like a pre-Game of Thrones game. This is Warrior Knights. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Until the next video, stay safe and take care.